actually, they've been a very good ally. And a lot of people don't know that. But he won't be hitting Qatar. But
at the Oval Office on Monday, President Trump flatly denied that Netanyahu had warned him in advance about the strike on Hamas leaders in Doha. Asked by reporters whether he had prior knowledge, Trump said, No, they didn't." His statement directly contradicted an Axios report claiming that Netanyahu had notified the White House beforehand. Reuters reported that U.S. officials were actually informed only when the missiles were already in the air, leaving no time for Washington to respond. Netanyahu's office later issued a statement backing Trump's account, stressing that the Doha operation was completely independent. The statement read, "The White House rendition of events is correct. Israel's action against Hamas leaders in Doha was a wholly independent Israeli operation. Israel initiated it, carried it out, and takes full responsibility." While distancing himself from the decision, Trump sought to reassure Doha, a key U.S. ally and mediator in ongoing ceasefire talks. When asked if Netanyahu had promised not to strike Qatar again, Trump said firmly, he won't be hitting Qatar.
Netanyahu said that he doesn't rule out targeting Hamas anywhere they are. You said that you don't want to see Qatar hit again. Are there any guarantees that Qatar...
Well, he won't be hitting in Qatar. As I say, I call it Qatar. You call it Qatar. You're actually more right, but actually you're allowed to go. The Emir said, you can say it any way you want, but I've always thought of it as Qatar. I think it's a beautiful sound. And actually, they've been a very good ally. And a lot of people don't know that. But he won't be hitting Qatar, but he will be maybe going after. Now, there was an article that I read in a newspaper just about an hour ago where Hamas said they're going to use the 20 hostages as human shields. They're going to bring them up from the dark tunnels, and they're going to put them in the line of fire so that if Israel goes forward, they're going to die. And I thought that was very terrible, and I put out a statement on that. You saw that.
Meanwhile, U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio, standing alongside Netanyahu in Jerusalem, urged Qatar to continue its role in mediation. Rubio said Qatar could help secure the release of the 48 remaining hostages in Gaza, ensure Hamas is disarmed, and contribute to building what he called a better future for Gazans.
We are focused on what happens now. What happens next? What role can Qatar play possibly in reaching an outcome here that leads not just to the end of this hostilities, not just to the release of all of the hostages, both living and deceased, not just the disarmament and elimination of Hamas, but also a better future for the people of Gaza, which isn't possible as long as Hamas exists, which isn't possible as long as 48 hostages are being held. And so we're going to continue to encourage Qatar to play a constructive role in that regard.
But Netanyahu, facing widespread international condemnation over the strike, refused to soften his position. He insisted he would not rule out further strikes against Hamas leaders, wherever they are. To sum up, President Trump has distanced himself from Israel's strike in Qatar. Netanyahu has claimed full responsibility. Rubio is pressing Qatar to stay engaged in ceasefire efforts, and Netanyahu is refusing to back down. The episode underscores the deepening tensions between Israel's military actions, Washington's diplomatic balancing act, and the urgent humanitarian disaster unfolding in Gaza. For more in-depth global coverage, don't forget to subscribe to the Indian Express here on YouTube.